Agni. Mandalam 1, Suktam
27A.
Rishi,
Shunah Shepa Ajigarti.
Devata, Agni, Chandas, Gayatri. Mandalam 1, Suktam
27.
Rik 1.
Asvanatmavaravandam vandadhya agnim namodhi samrajam dhamadvaranam.
You, like long-tailed steed, to be greeted respectfully with bows, Agni, supreme ruler of sacrifices. Dexterity of Agni and the elegance of a steed. A majestically galloping steed, with its long tail fluttering and swaying behind in its wake, is used as a metaphor to describe Agni and his expressions. The graceful and energetic movements of a steed depict his spontaneity of articulation and his ability to sustain any process that he initiates and see it through to its logical conclusion. The long, smooth and flowing hairs of the steed's tail are an allegory for truths that represent Agni's character. Just as it is a very satisfying experience to be witness to the grand spectacle of a galloping horse, so it is experiencing the varied expressions of Agni universe-wide, for which he is surely praiseworthy and must be repeatedly acknowledged and treated respectfully with many bows. Transformations being an inherent and inevitable aspect of existence, and that happen every moment, everywhere, Agni leads this charge of inexorable events as its supreme ruler. These thoughts have been expressed in earlier verses also, and perhaps will be expressed in verses to come as well in the vast body of text of the Rigveda. Instead of being exact repetitions, the notion would be camouflaged in alternative allegories and different metaphors. Elaborated descriptions such as these, apart from explaining those new manner of depiction of the same truth, would have to fall back on the nuances of language and its vast vocabulary to match the composer's versatility in using allegorical correlations and metaphoric machinations. The description of this verse is one such attempt.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
27.
Rik 2.
Indeed, he, son to us, with wide striding power, very favorable, bountiful may He be for all of us. Agni, the wide strider. The mention of Agni in this verse as the sun has many connotations. It can be in a universal sense or the local sense. In the universal, it would refer to Agni as the sun of truth, represented by the manifest supreme. In the local sense, it would refer to Agni being embodied by the hymn and so deemed to be the son of the hymn rendered, its composer or the reciter. There is indeed a big extrapolated leap of logic in the latter that is yet reasonably valid. The various expressions of Agni as energy spans great distances and strides over elemental domains as well. If energy is the basis of all activity, then the purported instantaneous communication between entangled particles over vast distances and the breakdown of vacuum energy into mass as a particle-antiparticle pair under the influence of gravitational and electromagnetic energy fields are just two examples of Agni, the son of the manifest supreme, being wide-striding. Very favorable to us, he no doubt is, and bountiful too, is Agni. We, our earth, and everything in it that sustains us is attributable to this wide-striding ability of his, within and without of us. The last part of the verse may sound like an unavoidable obligation on the part of Agni towards us. It is rather his obligation to his almighty progenitor and the script of existence that makes him act the way he does. This is the human eye view of existence and Agni's role in it. As the manifest supreme resides within every mortal body, it perhaps is the supreme's eye view as well.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
27.
Rik 3.
दूराच्चासाच्च निमर्त्यादघायोः वाहिदमिद्विश्वायोः.
He for us do assuredly protect always from afar and from nearby and in continuance from mortal maliciousness. Kindness and maliciousness. Kindness and maliciousness are a pair of behavioral tendencies, like a particle-antiparticle pair of the material realm. The behaviors, however, though being inherent in mortals, can be expressed singly or simultaneously, depending upon situations that cause them to be articulated. Both engender change with consequent repercussions. There is no story or history without both being in the mix of their plots, intrigues, or happy endings. If it is indeed a script that drives existence, then both behaviors must be part of the story of existence as well, articulated by characters by preordainment at appropriate times. The imploration directed at Agni to protect mortals from the tendency of maliciousness alone then seems out of place, considering the fact that it is awareness of the manner in which existence works that is sought as grace from the powers that be. The appeal made in this verse would then merely chronicle the expected behavior of mortals that have not yet had the privilege of attaining awareness when subjected to maliciousness. Awareness would perhaps grant to the seeker wisdom and the vision to see kindness and maliciousness merge, annihilating each other like particle-antiparticles do, leaving behind the truth of existence and that of Agni, who makes all this happen.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
27.
Rik 4.
इमभूषस्त्वमस्माकम् सलिङ्गायत्रम् नव्यांसम् अग्ने देवेषु प्रबोधः.
Besides, Agni, you do inform forth upon divinities from all of us this recent well-made solicitation hymn in Gayatri meter. WTO and UTO. From one standpoint, the conviction of seer composers too appear to fluctuate on the question of the manner in which existence works, their convictions swaying towards preordainment at certain times and towards a mortal will-driven model at other times. Perhaps this is the consequence of being a mortal or the misunderstanding of what the composer-seer actually conveys by lesser mortals like ourselves, the swaying being localized within us rather than in the seer-composers. The mention of a recent well-made respectful solicitation hymn in the literal translation of this verse points to the possibility of this hymn being better than an earlier one and also being more effective. The notion of effectiveness brings to the fore the idea of there being a transactional value to the exchange between mortals and immortals, which the mortals strive to increase to obtain better recompense from their benefactors. This would make the universe an entirely commercial enterprise with all of its strange peculiarities, and maybe it is indeed. Perhaps the WTO is a subset of an infinitely large UTO that drafts rules for commerce and trade between every entity in creation and modifies them according to changing needs. And asking Agni to declare to divinities about a new verse is dissemination of information about an amendment in rules made by the UTO upon a mortal petition.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
27.
Rik 5.
आनो भज परमेष्वावाजेषु मध्यमेषु शिक्षावस्वो अन्तमस्य.
Do verily distribute in abundance to us in the highest, in the middle, do verily teach about substances of the last. Our transition through the worlds and Agni. The three worlds mentioned in the verse are the worlds within us, the material world, the world of the mind, and the world of consciousness. The commodity distributed in abundance by Agni in the three regions and that the seeker expects is knowledge and wisdom. In the material world, Agni reveals how substances interact with each other according to the universal laws of nature. Energy, the expression of Agni, is the common measure upon which the role of every substance in activities of nature is analyzed and understood. This is the domain of science and technology, where ego dominates and knowledge is acquired and used for satisfying its whims without the understanding, and even if understood, exhibiting a misplaced preference for short-term gains that lead to heavy long-time losses of the adverse consequences of this indulgence. In the world of the mind, the abstractions of substances according to general perceptions in the context of the supposed purpose of existence, of becoming conscious of the manifest supreme, are formulated, investigated, and interpreted. In this realm, wisdom gradually gets the better of ego. However, the insalubrious effect of the ego still persists, although in lesser measure. In the world of consciousness, there is no want, as the mind sees itself in everything, resulting in there being no other. Agni has an important role to play in these transitions between worlds as well.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
27.
Rik 6.
विभक्तासि चित्रभानो सिन्धोरोर्मावुपाका सद्यो दासुषेक्षरसि.
One who distributes riches, one of variegated luster, night and day, in wave from ocean, you pour out immediately for donor. Agni's bestowment of knowledge. The mention of variegated luster refers to the ability of light to convey characteristics of objects upon which it is incident. Objects tend to absorb some wavelengths and reflect others depending on their material composition, and makes every object distinguishable and its composition inferable. One of the ways that Agni showers his bestowals of knowledge is through the light he distributes, the facet of Agni in the rays of the sun that sustains all life on earth. His bestowments are said to reach us as a continuous stream of waves from the ocean of knowledge. This is a pretty accurate description of how heat and light reach us from the sun. The otherwise arbitrary assignment of Agni's abode being both heaven and earth is based on the fact that the earth absorbs a good part of the sun's energy during daytime and radiates some of it back into space during nighttime. On the premise that the origin of a phenomenon is its domicile, Agni can be deemed to be domiciled in outer space as well as on earth. Metaphors, in certain instances, need not only be suggestive resemblances, they can be literally applicable as well, like the movement of Agni's bounties as waves being quite literally so. The donor mentioned in the verse refers to both mortals and immortals, upon whom Agni's grants are poured out. Both mortals and immortals donate their effort and time that are attributable to the grants of Agni to the progression of existence.
Mandalam 1, Suktam
27.
Rik 7.
यमग्ने वृत्समर्त्यमभावाजेषु यञ्जुनाः स्वयं तासस्वतीरिषाः
Agni, whomsoever this mortal, desirous in combat, whomsoever the mortal you inspired in abundance, he will hold perpetual impulsions. Conjectures, truth, and life's purpose. Here again, there can be two interpretations to the expressions of this verse. It can either be that it is a statement of fact that whomsoever is combative in life or is inspired by knowledge to seek even more of it, exhibits the effects of Agni's power, or it should be a reiteration of the notion that Agni's bestowals are directed at those characters in the playbook of existence who are to be combative in facing adversities, or those who need to be inspired to climb the ladder of awareness to reach the summit of supreme consciousness for the allotted duration of time. Both proposed models of the universe would work within the dharma-karma framework of process dynamics and produce similar progression patterns for a universal process. Perhaps the script itself is designed to provide a multi-optional perspective to the characters in it, as none of the options would anyway matter to the way existence would progress from creation to dissolution. Possibly, the various orders of religious thought is the outcome of these multifarious perspectives of itself that is allowed by the script. Existence works only one particular way, and all perspectives lead to this conclusion ultimately. If you found this video informative and relevant, please like and share it. If you would like to see more such videos in this ongoing series, please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you for viewing.